So hi, Golden Guys Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Jaali, Until I Wake.
And there's some questions to say about the new album, Renovate. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you guys feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Everything's been amazing. The reaction people have had to the album so far has been mostly good. So I'm really excited about that, and just super grateful to be able to have the opportunity to kind of be in this position right now. So everything's been great.
Hell yeah. The album fucking rips.
It's
Thank you.
incredible. Yeah.
Did you guys hear the whole album?
Yes, we did.
Oh yeah.
Nice. I'm glad you any songs you guys liked the most? Like I mean, I kind of want to hear from like a fan's perspective, like what did you guys like the most? Like any songs that you can
I can
think
tell
of?
you the first half honestly was just really fucking good. It was like hit
Let's
after
go.
hit after hit. Yeah.
Let's
But
go.
give me a couple more listens, give me a couple more days, and I'll be able to have like a fucking tier list for you. I can
Yeah,
tell
for
you.
sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't have the track list in front of me, so I can't name specifics. I only
Yeah,
listened
no
to it
worries.
once.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Of course. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so the cover art, we liked it. We kind of gravitated towards it due to its kind of it's very vague. So I know a lot of people can have their own kind of ideas when they look at the album cover, the album title. The concept renovate, some people kind of thought it had something to do with, renovating the lineup of the band. I kind of want to clear the air on that and kind of say that the album title is really based off of the meaning behind the album and the concept of kind of renovating ourselves as people. Every day that we have the chance to wake up and live our lives is a chance to be able to go out there and kind of renovate our minds and our souls to be, working in a more positive way. And I think that based on just the way that life is, a lot of people out there have been through a lot of negative experiences that tend to stick around longer than they need to. And, kind of speaking from personal experience, when I say that these things can kind of have a way of controlling our life until we realize the opportunity that we have. And once we seize that opportunity to renovate and kind of rebuild ourselves, that's when the real growth kind of starts to happen. And I kind of wanted to paint a picture with this album to not only take myself back to some of those places, but to kind of even the playing field with a lot of these listeners and kind of let them know, hey, this is, something I have been through as well. So let me meet you there real quick. And then hopefully on the way through the album, we can kind of come out of it a little bit together.
Gotcha. So it's pretty much like your self-reflection journey.
100%. Yeah, I wrote the album as kind of the concept of this character who's going through from the first song Catacombs. It's open the gates and kind of let you into the hell that I've been living in. And then throughout the album there's sort of a change in perspective and almost like an enlightenment as we reach the middle of the album where Renovate kind of sits, when this character really starts to discover the true potential they have once they are able to conquer these other emotions and these experiences that have kind of held them back. And that's kind of what the concept of the album is just a walk through these places and trying to reflect on some things that I've been through while also being able to try and relate to a lot of the things that people might be going through right now.
Hell yeah. Did you struggle at all, like, not to get super deep super early, but like did you struggle at all going back and reflecting on your past and then having to like put that pen to paper and now getting ready to put it out, like, and if so, how did you kind of work on that balance and make sure you didn't like fall backwards in your recovery?
Yeah, so definitely a great question. And I think that being an artist, sometimes we have to revisit things that, weren't the greatest things to remember, but it's what breeds the most authentic and like genuine music. And, when we went into the studio, I really told the band and Landon and everybody else that were kind of a part of this production that using this opportunity to be in the band is, that's exactly what I want to use this opportunity for, is to bring a light into the industry, bring a light into the world that might not be so bright right now. And if that means me having to go back and revisit these emotions, then so be it. It's all worth it. Because I know that it might be a little difficult to kind of write about some of the things because I don't want to, like you said, kind of fall back into this mindset of this is what I'm feeling right now rather
Mhm.
than this is what I was feeling. But I think it's important to be able to revisit those things and know that you learned from them, you grew from them, and the more you you might hide them in the shadows. Like the same thing with anxiety. Like a lot of people don't like to talk about their anxiety. They don't like to talk about their depression. They don't like to say, "Hey, I'm struggling right now," because the more you talk about it, the more that it feels real, and the more that it kind of you start to identify with these emotions. Um, but yeah, I think that being able to jump back into them and kind of talk about them at least, it kind of it removes the power from them. Because
Mhm.
if you're
Yeah.
too afraid to talk about them, then they still have some sort of power over you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that words are like spells. So it's a fine line. Like you don't want to dive too deep and talk about these things too deep. And yeah, I got to remember that it's like these are the same songs we're going to be singing every night.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to be careful about how you're wording them and how you're saying them. That was definitely something that I really told the band I kind of wanted to like tread lightly on. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be saying things in the present tense too much
Mhm.
because it's like spells. But
Yeah.
at the same token, like I said, being able to consciously bring them to light, it kind of removes the power that they had over me at one point in my life. And I know that the biggest thing is taking that risk to dive back into my past and talk about these things. There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna benefit from it. And if I
Mm-hmm.
know even just one person can benefit from the stuff that I'm talking about, then I'm doing the right thing. So that's what it's all about for me.
Absolutely, hell
Goddamn
yeah.
right.
And of course, like, people can see when what you're talking about, what you're saying in the music is authentic versus fabricated. So it pays to, dredge up that past to really resonate with people versus like singing what people want to hear or what you
Yeah,
think they
no,
want
for
to hear.
sure. For sure. We're not in the business of making music to make other people like, I mean, I don't want to say we're not in the business of making people happy, but I feel like as far as like this music stuff goes, like we're not really like the yes men type of people. Like if someone
Mm-hmm.
wants to hear this, like that's fine, but we're going to make music that we enjoy and that we can stand behind. And if that means, being a little more authentic or a little more genuine or kind of going and pushing the margin a little bit of what people are comfortable with, like that's what this music is all about for us. And that's why we do what we do.
Hell
Mm-hmm.
yeah, love it.
Damn right.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, for sure. We were working with Landon Tours from the Plot and You. Shout out Landon. We were able to stay with the guys. We all had an Airbnb, and then we would go and take trips over to Landon's house like 5 times a week. And the whole other like 4 or 5 weeks when we weren't at Landon's, we were at our Airbnb just cooking up in like the kitchen. We like Heaven Knows that song, the kind of middle track, the R&B
Mm-hmm.
kind of one that starts off a little more like electronic. I remember specifically August was writing that instrumental just in the kitchen at the
Yeah.
kitchen table, just sitting there like breakfast coffee, and he's just sitting there with his guitar and he's typing away and and I'm sitting there, I don't know what he's doing, and I'm listening from the outside the headphones. I'm like, whatever he's working on sounds dope.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be doing that. And then upstairs, you would just hear Nico shredding, like doing
Mm-hmm.
some wild something. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on up there, but it sounds great.
Sounds
And then
great.
I would send myself down to the basement. I like to be kind of away from everybody when I write.
Mm-hmm.
So some days they would go to the studio without me, and I would stay back at the Airbnb so I could have the house to this myself, and I would just kind of write lyrics there. It was a little bit of an amalgamation of all of those things, not to mention going to the studio at Landon. Like
Mm-hmm.
I grew so much as an artist just being able to spend those sessions at his house, like whether it was with the guys there or me and Landon one on one, cooking up with this instrumental. It's like he has so many great ideas that there was a majority of the album was definitely, I wouldn't say a majority, but I would say a good amount of the album was written with just me and Landon sitting together in the bedroom, cooking up lyrics. And maybe some of the guys were there in the background and stuff, and they'd be kind of watching the session lyrically if they didn't have instrumental stuff to work on. But you know, a lot of the time it was just kind of either me by myself in the basement or like me with Landon. I would write lyrics with Ryan, our bass guitar player. We would
Mm.
be cooking up in the basement. We cooked up Wholehearted. Ryan kind of helped me scribe some of the lyrics for the beginning of that song. So yeah, it was definitely a collective effort, and a shout out to all the guys because there's no way we could have done this project without all of us working together as hard as we did.
Hell yeah. Did you guys have anything going in, or was it just like we've got this
No,
block booked out and
no.
we're just
Yes. Yeah. They gave us 5 weeks or something like that, maybe 40 days. I don't remember exactly how many days it was, but it was
Mm.
something like, you know, like 5 weeks. And I think they said, you know, we're going to send you out there for 2 days to work with Landon to make your first song. And if it goes well, we'll send you out there for the rest of the album.
Mm.
We wrote Separate. It was, I think it's Catacombs, Wholehearted, and then Separate. So the third track on the album, Separate, that was the very first song that we did. And I remember us coming home from Landon's house being like, yo, this is incredible. And we were
Mm.
so excited to get back out there. And then when we went back out there, we just immediately started cooking. Uh he had an instrumental ready to go. Nico had a couple instrumentals from the past, but we haven't heard any of them. So it was like it wasn't like we had ideas going into it for song concepts and lyrics. It was just more or less like, hey, this is the first time hearing the instrumental and we have to finish the song by tomorrow. So
Yeah.
a lot of the time it was like, yo, the clock's ticking. But I had this phrase I kept saying, and I always say, pressure makes diamonds. If you're
Hmm.
comfortable, you're going to stay comfortable and you're going to make comfortable music. But I
Yeah.
feel like in the span of like, you know, greatness and what your true potential is, it usually lies in those uncomfortable, stressful, like pressurized situations where you have to
Hmm.
think quick and you don't really have too much time to overthink things. So a lot of the stuff that's on that album is like it's just straight from the heart, straight from the mind. Like this is
Yeah.
what we were thinking, this is how we were feeling. But yeah, it was definitely a strong collective effort with everybody working together on this.
For
absolutely.
sure. Yeah, it's wonderful. So, what song off the album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
The longest to write,
Hmm.
I would say they all had like when I say we had like 2 days to write these songs, like I
Hmm.
can't even exaggerate at all.
Damn.
We were working like tirelessly like every single day just to
Hmm.
finish the last song. We were staying up late to write the next instrumental because we really only had a certain amount of time, and we all knew that if we didn't finish the album, we would have to come back and finish it.
Mhm.
And coming back to Michigan just for like a few days without the Airbnb, with maybe some of the same guys weren't able to make the second
Hmm.
trip, it would have threw off the vibe. And we were like, you know
100%.
what? We really want to make sure that we can keep the same energy throughout the whole album. So that means we have to finish it while we're here. So all the songs were written. I think we really like max had like 3 days. We'd have a day to write the instrumental, we'd have a day to write the lyrics, and then we have a day to record the lyrics. And it's
Oh,
like if you don't hit
goddamn.
that third day, yeah, like if you mess up singing or I
Hmm.
lost my voice or I can't get something right, it's like, yo, all right, fine, let's move on to writing the next instrumental. But the next day, the third day of the next song, like you got to record like two songs, like
Hmm.
because you didn't finish this other one, so we got to record a whole song and then you got to go back and finish this one. And it's like it was,
Goddamn.
yeah, like I said, it was a lot of pressure. But
Yeah.
I think that all the songs took relatively the same amount of time to write. My favorite song on the entire album, I said it before, but it kind of teeters back and forth, Separate or I would say Hell of a Ride. Hell of a Ride is just one of those songs that the feeling that we had when we wrote that song. I remember Nico wrote the instrumental and he sent it to the group chat, and he was like in his room. So like he just cooked it up and he sent it to the group chat, and everybody's like downstairs watching a movie. Nico's in his room, I'm in my room, probably writing lyrics for something like that had to get finished. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden I get this instrumental, and it was called like MCR something because it sounded like an MCR ballad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like this has that vibe.
Hmm.
And I instantly started cooking up lyrics for it because I just felt really inspired. And when I wrote the chorus, I was so hyped that I called all the guys upstairs. I said,
Hmm.
guys, get in here. Someone was in the bathroom and I was like, nah, just wait for him. I'm like, he's got to be in here to hear this. And then
Yeah.
they all sat down on the bed. I'm like, y'all ready? And I did the chorus and they were like, yo, like, and everybody was like jumping up and down. They were like,
Yeah.
yo, this is like, do you realize like we just made a hit? And I was like, I do. I'm like, I don't even care if the whole world thinks it's a hit. I don't care if it blows up or if it flops or whatever. I'm like, we just wrote probably one of the best songs I feel like we ever wrote. And
Damn.
it's like, it was just such a good feeling in the room that I feel
Yeah.
like whenever I listen to Hell of a Ride, I think of that vibe in that bedroom in Michigan, all of us just so happy to be around each other, so happy for the creation of music itself. Like we're not really
Mhm.
thinking about the fame or blah blah blah. We're just thinking about like, yo, we just made something that's like magic. And then you go to the studio and you record it and you listen to it back and you're like, yep, it sounds just like I thought it would.
Yep. Yeah.
So I would say Hell of a Ride or Separate are two of my favorites.
Solid.
Oh
That's
yeah.
so wonderful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how'd the track list for your album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be the closer? Did shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
The opener was kind of an easy decision, like right off rip, because when we had a lot of these songs, like we're in the middle of writing all of the songs, and it's like maybe 3 weeks in, we got like, I don't know, 8 songs done. And this is where we kind of started to say, like, we could write a better song for an opener or closer anytime within the next 2 weeks, but let's go through the songs that we have right now and see if any of them work for an opener or a closer.
Mhm.
And Nico had written Catacombs, and that song, it says welcome aboard
Mhm.
right before the breakdown in the beginning,
Yeah.
and we all kind of agreed like, yep, that's it's
Check.
the yeah. And the whole concept of the album, like I said before, it's supposed to be like a story. It's like starting in this place and gravitating towards this towards the end. It's
Mhm.
not like, you're going through all this stuff and then all of a sudden, like, it's a happy song and then it's back to like, no, I really wanted it to have a fluidity to it,
Mhm.
that it made sense for the listener to like take you through this journey. So when I heard the welcome aboard and Catacombs itself is a very chaotic song, it's a very like, dark, emotional song, I was like, yeah, this is perfect for the beginning. And then towards the end of the 5 weeks, I think Hell of a Ride might have been one of the last songs we recorded. And I think we all kind of as a band were like, yo, um, it was like a tie between Hell of a Ride or Renovate. But I said that I really wanted Renovate to be in the middle
Mhm.
as the turning point of the album. Like this
Yeah.
is when the character kind of starts to have that sort of enlightenment, and they
Mhm.
start in the you hear Renovate, and then right after you hear Renovate you hear Eclipse.
Mhm.
And Eclipse is, when the moon goes in front of the sun and like blocks the sun.
Yeah.
And the idea of the song Eclipse is this person is starting to realize like the flaw inside the idea that like everything like is bad, like because
Mhm.
everything's not bad. The only thing that I've been tricked into believing is that things will never get better. But
Mhm.
during an eclipse, what happens? The moon blocks the sun and then it leaves and the sun comes back into view. And that's kind
Mhm.
of the idea of that song, is this person like seeing like, yo, hidden, like can you see it, like behind all this madness is some
Yeah.
sort of like light and is some sort of
Mhm.
meaning, and like behind this pain is purpose. And that's where like the turning point of the album kind of really comes into light, where this you see through Renovate, and then right into from Renovate you go into Eclipse.
Mhm.
And it's like this person's mind and this perspective is starting to really develop. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. After we decided Renovate would stay in the middle, we were kind of like, yo, Hell of a Ride, there's really nowhere else to put it. And
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful way to wrap up the whole idea of
Mhm.
not only the album, but just what a ride life is for
Mhm.
everybody. It's like if you take a look around and you look how far you've been, and then as a band, like, what a ride we've been through in the last year as
Mhm.
musicians, what a decade we have all been through to get to where we are now here,
Yeah.
touring the world. We're putting our fears and our stuff aside to go chase our dreams. And it's like that. I really wanted that to be like, I think we all kind of agreed like that as a final single would leave
Mhm.
people just repeat the whole album, like
Yeah.
run it back
Damn right.
because
Put
I
that
want
Yeah.
to
shit
hear
on
it
loop.
again.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Go through it again. So you kind of went into it a little bit earlier, but if you want, you can go a bit more in depth. Would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you were making this record?
Yeah, I would say more or less just like kind of reflecting a lot because one of my biggest goals as a musician is always to inspire people and spread positivity, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to use this opportunity to do that. And I know, in order to impact somebody, I think that they have to understand that you understand where they've been through. You could give someone advice on how to go through, navigate something like depression, but if they know that you've never been through it, that advice is only going to make it so far. Like they
Yeah.
might not take it as sincerely as someone who says, like, listen, I've battled the same thing for years. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the album was kind of just reflecting on some of those years of my life that I was struggling really hard with, panic disorder, like not able to go out, not able to drive my car, not able
Mm-hmm.
to see my friends, and just depression, the numbness that you feel, crawling up your spine. And it's like and wholehearted, like the voices whispering in your ear, telling
Mm-hmm.
you you're not good enough, telling you, you're losing it, and
Mm-hmm.
you're barely holding on by a thread, like songs like Castaway, when you feel like, you know what, it's time to give up. I'm gonna just rot away in this castle that is my
Mm-hmm.
life, and it's crumbling around me. And I look to the future, and I see that, wow, my life could have been great, but it won't be. I'm giving up. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, to reflect on all of those feelings, it was definitely something that I felt, kind of like a sense of like nostalgia, like, wow, like it's crazy to know that these are all the things that I went through and was able to write about. But yeah, the headspace throughout the whole album was just kind of like reflection, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
reflection, and just growth in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we did a decent job at kind of relaying that message to people of what the whole kind of theme of the album is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think throughout discussing this, you guys have kind of nailed the full package of like really being on the nose about what the record's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I was able to articulate that correctly.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should do in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Definitely not a party album. I would say more of like maybe like a workout album. Like if you're
Yeah.
someone who goes to the gym a lot, listening to the first song, Catacombs, right off rip, you're gonna want to go crazy at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I would say definitely if you're somebody who drives around in your car a lot by yourself, that's where I listen to the album the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I listen to music the most, is in my car. I think, any of our fans out there who might, be artists, or they might be like painters, like if you're sitting there at night and you got your headphones in and you're painting a
Yeah.
canvas, like this would be a
Yeah.
great project to kind of draw inspiration from. But yeah, wherever people feel comfortable, I can't discriminate. So somebody might be at work at a construction job
Yeah.
using a crane or something, listening to this song. I have no idea, but
Fucking
I would
dope.
say anywhere and everywhere is appropriate. This album
Yeah.
is friendly for all environments.
Damn right. Damn right.
No
uh,
discrimination.
Yeah.
no discrimination. And this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for your listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
3 words. I would
Hmm.
say versatile.
Okay.
I would say bold,
Okay.
and I would say emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are
There's a
good.
lot of
Solid.
emotions. We
Yeah.
were pretty bold with like how kind of adventurous we wanted to be, and that's kind of what birthed the versatility of the album, was kind of having that confidence to know that, whether people like it or not, we're gonna like it, and we really wanted to have fun with it. So I would choose those three.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful.
And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
Growth. The opportunity to rebuild is present in our lives. Every second we're breathing, we have the opportunity to grow and be better versions of ourselves. And this album is a perfect example of, someone who's no different than anybody else, out there, who might be going through some stuff. I'm just a normal person. I'm just a guy. And the fact that I went through this stuff and I made it out is living proof that you can do the same. and you can rebuild and you can grow. So I would say the overall theme of this album is definitely growth.
Absolutely.
Damn right. All right. And are you able to talk about any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
Yeah, definitely. I would say like the most challenging thing for me was definitely the time constraint. I'm
Yeah.
somebody who, as a hip hop artist, when I've been doing this by myself for the last 10 years, there's no time limit. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of make your own schedule and you kind of have the ability to spend more time like nitpicking certain concepts and themes and have more time to really come up with the right words to say. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
with this album, I think, and that could be a double-edged sword. Like I
True.
said, sometimes overthinking can be somewhat of a like a deterrence from progression. If you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there overthinking too long about maybe what other people think about it, oh, are they going to be able to digest what I'm saying here? Is it
Yeah.
too deep? Is the word the right word?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that can kind of halt the session. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like that was something I struggled with. There was often times where I would literally be sitting there in the studio like this, and they're like, "Yo, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, I can hear the hands of the clock ticking right now. And
Oh,
it's like it's just driving me nuts because I'm
yeah.
like, yo, like get that clock off the wall. And like
Exactly.
everybody stop looking at me, like
Yeah.
waiting for me to say something. So I'm like, I don't know what to say. I wish I was alone right now because then
Mm-hmm.
I could be sitting there like mumbling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as artists, I feel like sometimes we don't want to start saying our ideas out loud because if somebody says like, "Oh, I don't like that," and you're like, "Yo, I know I don't like that either. I'm working towards something. Give me a second."
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Let
that
me cook.
happened in the studio. Exactly. Let me
Mm-hmm.
cook. Like I'm in the booth and I'm like singing something or just trying to hum a melody, and then someone's just like, "Yo, that ain't it," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo."
No shit.
Dog,
I'm
I
like, no shit.
know.
I'm like, I know that. I'm like, I'm trying to find it, dude. I'm trying to figure it out. And like, I told them, I was like, you guys can't say anything. Like, you can't, like, you got to wait until it's
Mm-hmm.
done and then kind of like, not the whole song, but I'm saying, like, wait till I find out what I was trying to do and then do it. And then you can shit on it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with that. But let me find it first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And having that type of time constraint, it's something that it adds the pressure to the session. But I feel like working with someone like Landon, I said this in every interview where people ask me how it is to work with him. He is an exceptional tool to use in the studio as far as bouncing ideas off of him and the way he's able to keep the wheels turning in the studio in a positive way, in a comfortable way. It was
Mm-hmm.
really beneficial to work with him. But so I would say that was probably one of the more challenging things. But like I said, having a tool like Landon really made those things a lot less challenging.
For
Gotcha.
sure.
So your background being in hip hop and kind of being working on your own, was this the first time where you were like thrown in with the time constraint of like nothing is written and let's just go, you got 5 weeks, good luck?
Yeah,
Because
for
you
sure.
seem to really enjoy it based on earlier answers, like that
As far
pressure.
as yeah. No, I work well under pressure. Pressure is
Yeah.
is my best friend. I feel like I'm always under pressure. I keep myself under pressure even when
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to be like pressured about.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like to stay under
Totally.
pressure because I feel like that's where I grow the most. I like to put myself in those uncomfortable situations because it really shows me like, what I would do in that situation. And if I do something where I'm like, oh, like I didn't write this quick enough, it's like, oh, well, how could I have? And I've never been in a situation like this. Like you asked, is this my first time? Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time being a hip hop artist at home, it's like I got beats that no one's ever heard before and I wrote this song and no one's heard it yet and no one knows about it. So like it doesn't matter. I don't have any release date scheduled for something. Like it's more or less me just saying like, yo, if you want to be successful, like you better start putting out records and stuff. But there's more time to write these things when I'm just by myself with hours every night. Like I could stay up till 3 a.m. working on this by myself. But when you go to the studio's done at 9 o'clock and you got to go home, you got to make dinner, you got to get the right amount of sleep so you can wake up on time to give you back in the
Mm-hmm.
studio to record. So it's like things like that definitely made it a lot more challenging to kind of make this record. But like I said, I definitely did. You were right. I did enjoy it a
Mm-hmm.
lot, and it was the first time I've been in a situation like this. But I feel like we nailed it. I feel like we really did kind of get into a groove after the first week or so. And that's when we all kind of knew we were like, yo, this pressure is good. It's good pressure. We're doing good. Let's keep
Locked
it up.
in.
Yeah, let's keep the foot on the pedal, stay locked in, and good things will happen.
Hell yeah.
Damn
Love
right.
to hear it. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Sour punch straws.
Oh, damn right. Yeah.
Yeah, I had went to the East Ferry Express the other day with my friend to get some pastelitos, and they had these cotton candy sour punch straws, and I have had strawberry, I've had the grape, the blueberry, the green apple, I've had them all, and I had never seen cotton candy, and I had those, and they were like the best sour punch straws I've ever had. So anybody that asks us on the road too on our Instagram stories, they'll sometimes say like, "What snacks do you guys like?" And like anybody that's asked us that question before, they don't even ask me. They're like, "We know you like sour straws. You
We
like
got
sour punch straws and sour
Yeah.
candies and sour gummies." It's not even the candies; it's just gummies. I'm a gummy fiend.
Hell yeah.
Damn right, me too. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
What dish would we be? That's hilarious. You act like the band actually eats. They don't. These I don't know if I'm allowed to swear
You're good.
or not. These
No, yeah, you can
motherfuckers,
swear.
they do not fucking eat. They literally vape and they drink energy drinks, and that is their sustenance.
That's
Like, I swear to God.
crazy. What
To
energy
catch-
drinks though?
Monster.
Monster. Oh,
Every day. You wake
that's
up on
crazy.
the bus, it's 10 a.m., and the first thing you hear when you crack your eyes open, you're like, oh, and you hear, and it's a fucking, it's not a
That's
beer.
crazy.
Not a beer, it's not a Corona, it's a fucking energy drink. And then you hear when it's like fucking bus smells like fucking strawberry,
It's
whatever.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but me and Adam, we eat the most. Adam's their merch photographer, tour manager, and we are the only two dudes that really I feel like we eat. So if I was, you know what? Oh, they're gonna be so happy that I made this answer, but it's not one that I agree with, but I feel like I have to say it because it's the most honest answer. What I think the meal would be of the band is fucking sheets. The
Sheets.
stupid gas
Okay.
Yes.
station, bro. They know I don't like sheets because we've been there so many times that I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't want to eat at Sheets anymore. People are gonna probably shit on me too. They're gonna see in the comments, they're gonna be like, yo, fuck Jaali, Sheets is awesome. I'm just not.
Wawa on top, in my opinion. I mean,
Wawa's on top of Sheets. We've only been to a Wawa like maybe like 3 times, but Sheets are all over the country, and they stop anytime they go there. It's like an inside joke where Adam and August will look at each other and they'll go Sheets, and then everyone says Sheets and agrees, and they'll look at me and they'll go Sheets, 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 and I'm like, yo, it's criminal. Like they know that I hate it, so they just rub it in my face. They're like, we're going to Sheets, and I'm like, yeah, I know.
So I'm in Jersey, and there's only Wawa, no Sheets. But I was in Scranton recently. That's all I went to. I basically lived on Sheets for 48 hours because I love it so much. I only got to go once before that, and I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, PA. I'm going to Sheets every fucking time. I'm a Sheets enjoyer. I would move to the middle of PA. They
got a lot
Sheets.
of stuff. I won't lie. They got the smoothies. They got the frozen kind of drinks. They got the burgers. They got this. My thing is, I think that at Sheets they have a little bit of everything, but it's like done like half-ass. Like it's not that good. Whereas like my favorite burger is McDonald's. I know it's not the greatest, but like I'd rather go to McDonald's and get like a fire ass burger rather than getting a Sheets burger that's like it's like the lettuce and cheese is like cold and fucking like it's just like thrown together. I'm like, I don't know.
For me, it's just they got pretzel rolls for their subs, and you got me sold there.
That's it.
Yeah, I will say that stuff is good. My Adam, our tour, like the guy I was just talking about, he does a waffle sandwich. So he'll get the bread as waffles, and then he'll get a chicken sandwich. So he makes like his own sandwich.
Yeah,
and he's a slut for those sandwiches.
See, that's fucking awesome. I never thought of that.
Yeah, no, he builds his own sandwich. My thing was for the longest time, it was the schwings. I would eat those schwings, but they don't hit like regular buffalo wings do. Yeah, I know.
Wings.
Just saying it reminds me of the Wayne's World movie. I don't know if you
Crazy.
guys seen the Wayne's World movie.
I don't think so,
No.
but just
Anytime he
swings is
sees a
crazy.
attractive girl, he just goes swing. He's like, she's a babe. Swing. All
That's
the
funny,
older
though.
millennials who watch this interview, they'll be like, yes.
Yes.
Swing.
We get it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. And for the last couple questions, going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on
Okay.
death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, it's a hard question. It would be one of my mom's meals because my mom is like the best cook ever. So I would say,
Aw.
I don't know. That's a hard question. I would probably say my mom's meatballs. She literally just made spaghetti and meatballs, and she makes the meatballs from scratch. And then I probably to drink, any drink, a pink Sobe, because
Ooh.
yeah, I don't know if you guys know Sobe, the like old drinks, but they stopped making this pink one. It's called Pink Daiquiri.
Mhm.
And I remember when I was growing up, I used to drink those all the time, and they're not around anymore. So that's the drink I'm choosing.
All
Yeah,
right.
bring it
Anything.
back. Yeah, damn right. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Trying to think of some of my favorite like Disney movies, maybe. Um, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Star Wars because if I'm able to hold a lightsaber and use the Force,
Yeah.
like, do I get powers when I go into this?
Oh,
fiction
yeah.
world?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm a Jedi all day. I'm a Jedi all day.
Damn
I'm gonna
right,
find a
yeah.
way to stay a little bit longer than a week. Manipulate
Exactly.
the Force and stay a little longer.
Exactly. Stay forever. Yeah.
All
Fuck
right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm there. I'm gone. Sorry, guys. No more music. Jedi.
And I've thought of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is green, forest green.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
I almost would have guessed red based on the lights, the vibe lights in the
They're
back.
actually not red. They're orange. It's just my laptop looks buzzed.
These goddamn cameras, man.
Yeah, no,
Fuck,
they're not
man,
that
we're missing
great.
out.
It's messing up the color. I'm trying to think of if I have anything next to me that's the color, but I don't. But yeah, no, forest green is my favorite color, like a sage or forest green, kind of
Yeah.
like the Christmas tree right behind you.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
yeah. Shout
Mhm.
out Christmas.
Shout out Christmas.
Shout out Christmas, man.
Are you guys like genuinely like? Are you guys like fans of Christmas?
I am a massive fan of Christmas.
Glory's the
like
biggest
me
Christmas fan
personally.
I've ever met.
It's
I'm
not even
a
love
my
Christmas
favorite
enjoyer.
holiday.
I love Christmas. It's hilarious because I just asked my friend Tamar, he was just over here, and he's like, this like tough dude, and like, it's funny because like I asked him, I'm like, yo, you like Christmas? And he's like, no, I hate that shit. And I'm like, oh man. And he goes,
Fuck.
what about me would make you think that I like Christmas? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, you just seem like somebody who would like Christmas. And he's like, really? And I'm like,
Aw.
yeah. And I'm like, and I made a joke. I'm like, oh, like, what you think? You got a little cheer in you or something? You got a little
Yeah.
Christmas cheer? Does that make
Yeah,
you
got a
feel
little
good?
Christmas
I'm like,
spirit.
yeah, like you should, man. And you get some
Mhm.
cheer going on. It's good. Me
Yeah,
and my
damn
son
right.
we went on a walk through these trails,
Mhm.
and we were just listening to it all started from that Happy Holidays.
Uh-huh.
That we were listening to that song in the car, and he kept asking me to play it over. He's like, you'll play that song again. So I just started playing Christmas music all day.
Oh my god.
And we was walking through the woods, and I was telling him, I'm like, yo, you better be on your best behavior because Santa Claus, he sends elves disguised as people to walk around and make sure you're good. And
Oh shit.
we're passing these people listening to the Christmas music, and they go, oh, Christmas music, Merry Christmas. And we just start walking, and
Uh-huh.
he looks at me, he goes, elves. He goes, I saw that one girl. He's like, she was definitely an elf. What do
Fucking
you think
elf.
so? Do you think she was an elf? And I was like, yeah, dude, you're on to something. She had the Christmas hat on. Definitely.
Yeah. He's a fucking
That's
elf.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Glory's
Oh my God.
Glory's the kind of Christmas fan that will text me like in May and be like, I'm listening to Christmas music right now. I'm in the holiday
I
spirit.
got that shit on loop.
It's good music. You know Nat King
Genuinely.
Cole?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's one
Come
of my. I was gonna say that's one of my favorite songs is his Christmas song. Like that's like just one of the most classic Christmas songs ever.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
damn right. My favorite is Christmas Baby Come Home. That is that shit.
Please come home. That one.
Oh, yes.
I think it's just called Christmas.
Christmas.
Parentheses, Baby Come Home.
Baby Come Home. Yeah. Oh my god.
Snow's coming down.
It's just see that is just the Christmas in a song
Yep.
for me. Like
It
that
reminds
song.
me of like New York City or something. Like
Exactly. I've never been, And it's making me nostalgic for New York City. It's fucking beautiful.
Yo,
I love it.
As soon as this interview's done, I'm about to listen to that song.
You and me both.
Hell
You
yeah.
and me both.
Love
Best
it.
fucking song ever.
You gotta fade out the interview with that song.
It's just so
Because it'll be
good.
right around the same time when this
Yeah.
interview drops.
Exactly.
Probably. It'll be
Christmas
time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fucking love it.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
I would say just the new album. Make sure you guys go check it out. Leave your honest feedback. If you think it sucks, just please let us know. Just type a comment. If you love it, let us know. And if you see us at any shows in the future, don't be afraid to come up and say hi. We love talking to you guys and we love bonding with you guys. So yeah, that's all I got.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. It's been Jaali from Until I Wake, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.